a land where the sun kissed the earth with gold and the drums spoke louder than words, there lived a princess no one thought would ever marry. Not because she lacked beauty, not because she lacked grace, but because, to the villagers, she was simply too much, too big, too different, too everything they didn't understand. But what they didn't know, what they never saw, was that she carried the rhythm of the gods in her soul. This is the story of Princess Zira, and how her secret joy became her crown. Zira was the first daughter of King Obade, ruler of Orira, a kingdom of 4 sister villages, bound by history and festivals. Her sisters, 3 of them, were slim, poised, and already betrothed before their 16th harvest. Zira was nearing 20, unmarried, and the palace was uneasy. The whispers came like wind under doors. She's too big for any prince to lift. I heard they need 5 rappers just to tie her waist. She once ate a whole goat alone. A whole goat. People didn't say these things to her face. Oh no. But she heard them. She always did. King Obade tried to arrange suitors, offering gold, land, and even titles. But one by one they declined. Zira's mother, Queen Mila, cried in silence. How can the world ignore a girl with such a kind heart? But Zira, she had already begun to give up. She stopped attending open dances. She stayed hidden during public feasts. And slowly, she began to believe what the world said about her. No man will love me for me. They'll want the crown, not the woman who wears it. But Zira had one thing the villagers couldn't take from her. Not with their jokes, not with their whispers. Her secret love. Dance. From the time she was little, her feet had moved when the rain hit the roof. She would sway when the wind blew through the trees. She would tap to the beat of her heartbeat. And when the festivals came, while others sang and showed off in the square, Zira would steal away to a hidden grove just beyond the fig trees. There, with no one watching, she would hum her own tunes and let her body move freely, with joy, not shame. To her, those moments were not just escape, they were freedom. Then came the great festival of the 4 villages, the largest celebration in Orira. Drummers practiced for weeks. Dancers rehearsed under the moonlight. Cooks sharpened blades and filled pots with the finest goat meat and groundnut stew. Everyone in the kingdom buzzed with excitement, except Zira. For her, it meant another day of pretending, hiding, watching others shine, while she disappeared into shadows. As the festival drums boomed, Zira crept toward her usual hiding spot near the back of the hill, close enough to hear the music, far enough from the crowd. She began to move, hips swaying, arms swirling, her laughter bubbling like spring water, until a second drum joined in. It was faint at first, then louder. Zira paused. The festival music had stopped, but one drum kept playing, and it was close. She turned, and there, standing between the tall grasses, was a man with a wide smile and a drum strapped across his chest. Zira froze, then, instinctively, ran. But she couldn't outrun him. Her body was large, yes, but his legs were long, and he wasn't trying to chase. Just catch up. Wait, he called gently. Why did you stop? Zira turned, breathless. Go away. If you're here to laugh, find someone else. The man raised his hands. I'm not laughing. I got lost trying to find the market square. But then I saw you, and I thought, no, I felt, that my drum needed to join your rhythm. Zira looked closer. His clothes were different. He wasn't from her village. I'm Aaron, he said, from the village of Nkara. Zira, still skeptical, pointed him toward the market, but Aaron smiled again and said, I don't want to go there yet. I want to stay here, with the dancer whose joy caught the wind. Without waiting for her answer, he began to drum, softly, steadily. Zira's heart raced, but slowly. She danced again, for the first time, with someone watching, and it felt safe. The next evening she returned. He was already waiting, and so began their rhythm. Every night they met. Zira danced, Arin drummed. They talked about everything. The stars, childhood dreams, food, music, fear and fate. Zira began to laugh louder, smile more often. She even stood straighter. Her heart was healing. One evening, under a purple sky, Arin said softly, "Zira, I don't just come here to play the drum. I come here because I can't imagine my days without you in them." Zira looked away, unsure. "You say that now, but..." "I mean it," he cut in. "I want to meet your father. I want to marry you." Zira's heart thundered louder than any drum. When Zira told her parents, the entire palace froze. "A suitor? For you?" Queen Mila embraced her daughter in disbelief. King Obade summoned the guards and made preparations. On the next market day, Arin arrived, not alone, but with his elders, his people, and gifts beyond gold. The villagers watched in stunned silence. Some whispered, "That's him." Others gasped, "He's really asking to marry her." But no one laughed this time, because Arin spoke with pride, and Zira stood beside him, radiant, confident, no longer hiding. And so the princess who once danced in secret became the bride who danced at the center of the square. Because real beauty, the kind that lasts, isn't shaped by bodies or bound by clothes. It's shaped by the courage to be seen, even when the world tells you to hide. Sometimes it takes just one person, one drummer, to remind you that your rhythm was never meant to be silenced. So dance, even if no one's watching. Because one day, the right heart will hear your beat. And so, the princess who danced in secret became the woman whose joy lit up the kingdom. Because sometimes, it takes just one person to see the beauty you've always had. And sometimes, you have to dance in secret before the world learns how to watch. Years later, the tale of Princess Zira and the drummer from Inkara became one of the most cherished stories in Orira. Children grew up hearing how she found love, not by changing herself, but by embracing exactly who she was. In the center of the royal gardens, where the wind still whispered through fig leaves, a small stone stage was built. The dancers' circle. Every festival, Zira would invite every child who felt too shy, too strange, or too unseen to dance on that stage. She would smile and say, "Your joy is not meant to be hidden. Let the world adjust its rhythm to yours." Some say her laughter still echoes on festival nights. Some say the wind still carries the soft beat of a drum through the trees. But all agree on one thing. She was never too much. She was always just enough to move hearts. Zira's wedding to Arin wasn't just a royal event. It became a celebration that rewrote the village's thinking. People who once whispered behind hands now stood in awe, watching a woman they had mocked walk with grace, power, and a smile so bright it felt like sunrise. And Arin, he didn't just marry her, he honored her. He told everyone in every village festival that he found music the day he found Zira. Years passed. They had children, not just royal children, but storytellers, drummers, dancers. Each one taught not to hide their joy or shrink themselves for anyone. Zira, now Queen Zira, made one law that stood apart from all others. No festival would be complete without a dance circle open to everyone, of all shapes, sizes, ages, and backgrounds. And from far and wide, people came. The girl once mocked became a symbol of freedom, a reminder that self-worth is not gifted by others. It's claimed, one step, one beat, one breath at a time. Elders began to say, a dancer is not great because of how they move, but because of how they make others feel while moving. Zira danced into her elder years, never missing a festival. And whenever someone asked her what changed her life, she'd always say, with a knowing smile, one drum, one moment, one man, who saw me before I ever truly saw myself. And the young ones would stare in wonder, dreaming of the day they'd find their own drumbeat. Because in the end, it was never just about a wedding or a love story. It was about finding the courage to live out loud in a world that wanted you silent. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales that echo from the heart of the soil. Until next time, keep dancing to your own beat.